Hi, this is Miss Pellegrin with some homework help 1%. Okay, on number 1, 60 is 25% of what number? So I'm looking at my old notes, or I'm looking at this stuff that we've recently done to review over percent. Again, I am using a calculator and you will not be able to see it. I'm also using my finger to write because my pen is broken, so just forgive. Part is equal to percent times whole. That's what we use when we're dealing with percent. 60 is equal to 25%, just saying it's 25 out of 100, times what number? We don't know the number, so we're just going to call that x. So actually, let me erase that. I'll just call that x. So 60 is equal to 0.25 x, divide both sides by 0.25. Got the 0.25 by dividing 25 divided by 100. And so 60 divided by 0.25 gives me 240. So x is equal to 240. Okay, number 2, if you invest $1,600 at 5.25% for 18 months, how much simple interest is earned? So I is your interest is equal to P is your principal, R is your rate, and T is your time. So I is equal to the principal is the 1,600. That's how much you're investing. That's what you're putting into the bank. Times 5.25%. So 5.25 out of 100 is your rate. So this is your rate. And then the time is the 18 months. And so I equals 1,600 times 0.0525 times 18. And now order of operations on our calculator will allow us to do this. So 1,600 times 0.0525 equals 84. And 84 times 18 gives me 1,512. It's the amount of simple interest I would earn over 18 months. That does not seem correct. However, I've looked at it and wasn't able to figure out how they got their answer. Fortunately, they don't show their work. So we're just going to continue on. Number 3, a pair of jeans originally cost $85 but are on sale for 45% off. What is the sale price? Okay, so part equals percent times the whole. And we said that the part is going to be the amount of the discount. And so we need to see how much is the discount. So the percent that we're getting off is 45% of the 85. And so when we multiply 0.45 times 85, remember you can move the decimal 2 places to the left or just divide it. 45 divided by 100. Don't do both. 0.45 times 85 gives me $38.25. That's the amount of the discount. You could even change the P to a D at this point and call it the discount if that makes you feel better or understand it a little bit more. Okay, so the original cost was $85, so I have to take away the amount of the discount. And so when I subtract 85 minus 38.25, I get 46.75. Okay, and here's your final answer. I lined up my decimals. I made the work look correct, even though I used a calculator, so make sure you're doing the same. Okay, a pair of flip-flops is $30. How much will they cost after a discount and tax? Okay, so we have to do both. And so when we're doing both, we don't want to pay the tax on the $30. We want to pay on however much we're paying after the 20% discount. So again, we're going to use that part percent whole, knowing that the part is the amount of the discount. So I just changed it to a D. Just to remember, it's a variable. Over 100. And then times the 30. So the discount is 0.20 or 0.2 times 30. And 0.2 times 30 gives me 6. So my new price is going to be 30 minus 6. So my new price that I'm going to be paying the tax on is $24. Okay. So again, I still have to do the part percent whole again. Part percent and whole. Okay. And so my new part is I'm looking for the amount of the tax. So I'm going to change that to a T. Is equal to the percent is 6.5 out of 100, and then times the new price was $24. Okay, so my tax is 0.065 times 24. And so when I multiply 0.065 times 24, I get $1.56. So the tax is $1.56. So the total, the new price plus that tax, gives me $25. Oh, you can't see that. $25.56. 25.56. This is not as good as my usual account, but hopefully the video is more helpful in some ways. Okay, and finally number 5. Your restaurant bill is $123. If you want to leave a 15%, how much will you end up spending? So they want to know what your total is going to be. So part percent whole, in this case, this is going to be our tip. How much is our tip going to be? And so our percent, we want to leave a 15 out of 100 tip. And then $123.50. So my tip is 0.15 times 123.50. And so when I multiply 0.15 times 123.50, I get the tip is going to be 18.525. But that's money, so I know that there shouldn't be 3 numbers. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the hundreds place where I know money should end, and that 5 is going to round it up. So my tip should be $18.53. They don't want to know how much my tip is, though. They want to know how much I'm going to spend. And so I was already spending $123.50, and then I'm tipping her because she was such a fantastic person and waitress, $18.53. And so when I add those things together, I get $142.03. Bring down that decimal, and there is my answer. Okay, the other part of your homework is the rational numbers portion. And so when I'm looking at number 1, if I'm looking at my little booklet that helps me, it says the first thing that you need to do when you're dealing with fractions, when you're adding or subtracting them, is think about your integer rules. And the reason for that is so that you know if you're adding or subtracting these. And so on this one, I know that I am adding them because I have a -2 4/5 and a -6 2/15. If you need to see that by keep, change, and change, you're welcome to do that so that you can see that this is adding two negatives. Okay. The next thing it tells me is that if I have any mixed numbers, I need to change them. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So I have 14 over 5. And then 6 times 15. 15 times 6 is 90. Plus 2 is 92 over 15. And then my denominators aren't the same, so I need to make common denominators. I'm ignoring the signs right now. That is not my concern. I will go back and look at that in a second. So I know that 3 times 5 is going to give me 15, so that will make a common denominator. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top as well. So therefore, 3 times 14 gives me 42. So I've got 42 over 15 plus 92 over 15. And 42 plus 92, I am adding them because they have the same sign. Just double checking. And so that gives me 134. And then my denominator just stays the same at 15. Okay. I always like to try and just see if this will give me something, a good decimal. So if I divide 134 divided by 15, I get 8.93 repeating on forever. So that's not a very good decimal. Okay, so my answer choices are a negative, because it is going to stay as a negative. Negative 134 over 15, or sometimes you need to go back to a mix, so we need to make sure we can do that. So 15 will go into 13 0 times. It'll go into 134 8 times. 8 times 15 is 120. So I subtract. And 15 won't go into 14. So I have 18 and 14 15ths. Okay, and it is negative. So those are the two options of answers. Okay. You could have the decimal answer, but probably not. Okay, number 2. I'm looking at the signs, integer rules. I know I'm going to be subtracting, but before I can do that, I don't have any mix to change, but I do need to find some common denominators. Okay, so 12 times 2 is 24, and 8 times 3 is also 24. Fantastic. Okay, so we can multiply both times 2. If you're ever stuck with this, you could always multiply 12 times 8 and 8 times 12. It's just going to be giving you very large numbers. And then to remind myself, I need to multiply both of these by 3. So 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 12 is 24. Plus 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. And it is a negative here. Okay, so this helps us to know whether our answer is going to be negative or positive. So it is going to be a positive answer. I do have more positive than negative, but I am subtracting because they have different signs. So 21 minus 10 gives me 11. 11 out of 24, and it is positive. Okay, and that can't be simplified. 11 is a prime number. Nothing will go into it other than 11. Okay. Okay, so the next one, we got 3 times. I'm never going to finish. Okay, you're going to have to look at a second video for 3, 4, and 5 because my 15 minutes is almost up.